The Grim Reaper's scythe isn't to harvest you. It is to protect you from something on your journey. There is no fear as potent as the fear of the unknown. No monstrous visage discovered yet has been as terrifying as the infinite potential for horror which exists before the mask is removed. That is why we humans, in our naive misunderstanding of the universal order, are gripped by the mortal fear of death. We think it the final frontier, the greatest imaginable unknown from whose penumbral shores no traveler may return. And so, we cling desperately to even the most dreary and anguished lives, suffering any known evil over our release into the beyond. But death is not to be feared, because death is very well understood. We have witnessed it, caused it, measured and recorded it to the last dying spasm of neuronal flickering. Even as I lay dying, it seemed silly to me that I should be afraid of the emptiness that reason promised to expect. While I was alive, I wouldn't experience death, so there was no reason to be afraid now. When I was dead, I wouldn't be capable of experiencing anything, so fear still had no cause. That thought brought me great comfort as I felt the last erratic struggle from my heart against the inevitable conclusion I approached. It wasn't until I was finally drifting off to sleep that a final intrusive doubt bubbled into my brain. What if it isn't death that is to be feared? What if it is what lies beyond? And so troubled did I slip beyond mortal understanding, stepping into a world as far forsaken by reason as I was now from life. I was still in the hospital room, but the bustle of nurses and the beeping machines lost their opacity as though I was mired in swiftly descending dusk. It seemed as though every sound was an echo of what it once was, every sight a reflection. With each passing moment, the world was becoming less real. But all that sight and sound, all that being, it wasn't simply disappearing. It was transforming into a figure beside me. The less real my room became, the more real the figure was until presently it existed in such sharp actuality that nothing besides it seemed real at all. His cloak was black. Not the color black, but its essence. It was as though seeing a tiger after a lifetime of looking at a child's crude drawing and thinking that's all a tiger was. Reality flowed around his scythe like a brush through watercolors, and I could see each elementary particle in time itself sunder across its blade. Surely this, I thought. This is why we were taught without words to fear death. I clutched at my hospital blanket to cower from the intensity of the Reaper's presence, but the once soft cotton now flowed like translucent mist through my hands. I knew at that moment that nothing could hide me from the specter's grasp, for he was the only real thing in this world. "You're late." They were words. My head ached from the strain of this knowledge as my lateness was burned into my awareness, imparted like an inescapable law of physics as unequivocal as gravity. "We don't have time for the usual speech. Hurry now." I felt swept up around him like dirt in a hurricane. Before I knew what was happening, we were outside the hospital, moving at such a frenzied pace that the world around me blurred into a dizzying tunnel of flashing lights. If you're lucky, it will have gotten bored of waiting for you. I had too many questions, all fighting for attention in the forefront of my brain without any making their way out. "You're quiet." I admire that. Usually, people ask too much. "What's the point?" I asked. My voice felt flat and dead compared to his overwhelming substance. How can I try to comprehend something so beyond mortal knowledge? You can't. But it's still human nature to ask. We weren't slowing. If anything, our pace was increasing. I wasn't running, or flying, or anything of that nature. It was more like the rest of the world was moving around us while we stood still. A vague darkness and a heavy damp smell made me guess that we'd gone underground, but I couldn't say for sure. One question then, I asked. What else is here besides you? And that is why questions are pointless. Death is not a place or person. It's all there is. A troubling thought, but made more so by the growing howl which began reverberating the rocks around me. We still seemed to be descending into the earth, and the air was growing warmer and denser now. The sound continued to mount as though the world itself was suffering. Then what is IT? What I'm here to protect you from? The rocks split from a flash of his scythe, and the ground opened further into a sprawling cavern dominated by a subterranean lake. But I thought you said you were all there is. No, I said death was all there is. We were moving any longer. Light glinted off the scythe from some unseen source and streamed into the lake like a tributary. Once inside, the light didn't reflect or dissipate, but swirled and danced like luminescent oil. I thought you were death. Death is not a person. The light was taking a life of its own inside the water. The still surface began to churn with the enigmatic energy. It took my scattered mind a long while to realize that I was the energy flowing into the lake. I still felt tangled up with the figure, but we now existed as a beam of light boiling into the water. I knew I wouldn't understand, but that didn't stop me from feeling frustrated. If death is all there is, then what is IT? What was waiting for me? The water pressed in around me and I couldn't speak, although I could still draw breath somehow. It is here. Something was in the water around me. Hands grabbed me by the legs and began dragging me downward. I was amazed to even discover I had limbs again. They felt so alien to me that it was almost as though this body was not my own. Light flashed from the scythe, then again. The hands let go, and the howling rose once more. The Reaper was fighting something, although I couldn't make any sense of the battle except for the madness of thrashing water. The howling earth reached its crescendo, and the screams made the water around me convulse and contract like living fluid. Had the Reaper cut it? Was I safe? I began to explore my new body in the water, but just when I thought I was beginning to gain control, the hands clutched me once more. I lurched downward, struggling in vain against their implacable grip. What is here? I tried to shout against the suffocating liquid. What is happening? But I couldn't sense the Reaper's presence any longer. The heat was unbearable, but the cold depths the hands were dragging me toward were even worse. I became aware of a blinding light at the bottom of the lake, and though I struggled, the hands dragged me inexorably onward. I'm sorry. I couldn't fight IT off. It seemed to be coming from so far away now. We will try again next time. The pressure, the heat, the noise, the hands dragging me into the blinding light. I closed my eyes and screamed. I was free from the water now, but I just kept screaming. I couldn't bear to look at it, whatever had stolen me. Whatever was death, but was it? Whatever even the Reaper could not defeat. Then words spoke. Real, human words from a real human mouth. My senses were so distraught that I couldn't make sense of them, but I'm guessing they were something like, "Congratulations. He's a healthy baby boy. Most people can't remember the day they die, or the day they were born. I happen to remember both, and I know that they are the same. I'm a fire watcher. I found another fire watcher's unsettling journal at my new station. I am a fire watcher. Upon moving into my station, I found the following pages typed on my desk. I am not the author of the following. I am transcribing exactly what I found, dated 1989. Underscore 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 underscore. I've been located here for 185 days, according to my calendar. I'm stationed up in the northwest of the United States with two other guys, Clark and Thomas. 185 days. That's 5 days longer than our stint here should have been. Normally, they rotate us out every 180 days. We were supposed to be picked up by helicopter 5 days ago. I started writing this logbook, journal, whatever because we're overdue for evac. Or so we think. Maybe we messed up the calendar somehow. Our main radio stopped working on day 179. Get up. There's smoke. Bleary-eyed, I saw Clark standing over my bunk. I could see the orange slits of light reflecting on his torso, signaling to me it was early morning. Teddy. Smoke. Smoke? I said, still half delirious. Yes, smoke. A really small stream of it maybe a mile southeast. His eyes were wide and brighter than the sunlight on his uniform. I pulled myself out of the bottom bunk and headed towards the window. I didn't even need my binoculars to see the small sliver of smoke creating a shadow in the early sun's light. In 185 days, it's only the second time we've seen a potential fire. For those who don't know what a fire watchtower looks like, it's a wooden cabin elevated about 100 feet in the air. Ours has a staircase that wraps around the structure beneath the cabin. I'm pretty sure other towers use ladders, but that's beside the point. Clark and I bunk up in the watchtower. We have a little kitchen, our bunk bed, and a 360-degree view of nothing but woods. Thomas sleeps in a tiny little cabin at the base of our tower, which is also where our main office is. Office may be too loose of a term. It's one desk and a typewriter used for typing out reports of what we see out here. I rubbed my eyes and looked over to Clark. All right, let's go check it out. No way, Teddy. No way, he replied immediately. Clark has been afraid to go past the outhouse since day 180 passed. He's afraid a helicopter will come and he'll miss his chance to be rescued. Rescued, Clark would say. But are we in danger? Did we miscalculate the number of days we've been out here? We still have plenty of food. Did they forget about us? Has the apocalypse come and gone and we don't know because we've been isolated? Okay, fine, I agreed. Radio down to Thomas and let him know. He should be up. Our main radio back to base isn't getting a sign of life from anywhere. And if it isn't receiving from anywhere, we assume we aren't being heard from anywhere. Luckily, we still have our walkie-talkies to communicate with each other. Clark took out his walkie. Tom, there's some smoke about a mile southeast. Can you go check it out? A few seconds passed before Thomas responded. After I finish wiping my ass, I'll be on my way. Unless you want to help me with that Clarkie. Thomas, the oldest of us, is always picking on Clark, the youngest. He doesn't dislike Clark. He is just easy to pick on. He's a 23-year-old college dropout. I think he studied accounting or finance or something on his parents' dime. I don't think he left college to be a professional fire watcher. No, I think he left to come out in the wilderness, be alone, and take a retrospective look at his life to decide what he wants. You only sign up for 180 days of isolation if you're crazy or if you want to get away from something. I'm not sure which category Thomas falls in. He's a cryptic, brute of a man. His picture is probably in the dictionary next to lumberjack. He's pretty quiet unless he has a joke to tell or something important to say. Either way, when he opens his mouth, I listen. As for me, it's not important why I'm out here. Headed out now, Thomas radioed. Clark and I watched Thomas start his trek into the tree line until we could no longer see him. Clark cocked his head towards mine. Teddy, he said to me, Thomas has been acting different. Weird. I didn't expect him to be so blunt. But I had noticed. I knew Clark had noticed, but this was the first time we spoke about it. I know. He doesn't seem to be bothered that we are stuck out here. We don't know if we are stuck out here. We could have scratched off the dates wrong. You know, we thought we didn't scratch the day off yet, but we really did, so we accidentally scratched the next day too. I guess, Clark said softly. I knew what he was going to say next. At night though. Shut it, Clark. Come on, Teddy. It's fucked up. He's fine during the day and then just changes. Does he have some type of illness? It happens so suddenly. Maybe he does. So what if the guy goes out at night to stare at trees? Trees? Stare at trees? I know you've seen it. He goes out near the tree line and stands there for a while looking out. Sometimes hours. Maybe he does have a screw loose, and maybe he shouldn't be out here. But I don't think it's the best idea to bring it up to him when we're trapped here with him, especially if he is insane. Silence fell between us before Clark responded. I didn't know he stares out at the forest, he said to me in a soft voice and eyes wider than when he woke me up this morning. Wait, what? What were you going to say? At night, he stammered, he comes up the stairs. I looked over to our half-open door leading out to the staircase, letting a cool breeze in. What? He comes up the stairs, and just looks at us. Stares at us. Underscore 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 underscore. Thomas left to go check out the smoke about an hour ago. It seems to have vanished, so I figure he handled it. Clark spends his days using our walkie-talkies, trying every station possible to alert anyone nearby. I just watch the forest. Underscore 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 underscore. It's 11:30 p.m. Thomas isn't back. He left at about 7 a.m. He hasn't answered his radio. Tomorrow will be day 186. We do not know if Thomas is okay, and one of us will most likely have to check the woods tomorrow, and since Clark is chicken shit, it'll end up being me. More disturbing though, is something Clark told me a few minutes ago, the reason I went back to the office to type this. I was leaning back in my swivel chair, spinning slowly, making sure there were no lights or fires in the dark expanse of trees, and wondering where Thomas was. He must have been hurt. Even if he was lost, he'd reply on his walkie. We always answer our walkies. They're with us at all times, even when we're shitting or showering. Clark stopped my chair mid-spin and mid-thought. Before I could protest, he spoke. Listen. I need to tell you something I've been thinking about recently. It's eating away at me. I wondered if it had to do with Thomas. Okay, I said. I'm all ears. It's going to sound crazy, he warned. I bet I've heard crazier. He took a long, yet stuttered inhale, then spoke. I don't remember coming out here. My facial expression didn't change, and it looked like he was waiting for a reaction, so he repeated. I don't remember coming out here. Do you? Do you remember applying for this job? Do you remember being interviewed? Or being flown out here? At first, I was almost amused. Then as he asked those questions, I froze. I didn't remember. He continued, you know how I said I decided to leave college? Well, now that I'm thinking about it harder, I don't know if I did. I mean, I must have, right? To be out here? I must have. But all I can remember is my last day of class for the semester, and then I was here. I don't remember anything between coming home after class and meeting you and Thomas. I was listening, but it probably didn't show. I was still motionless. I couldn't remember. I tried and am still trying. Thomas is missing. Clark and I are losing our minds or something else. Either way, I can't explain it yet. underscore 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 underscore. There are more pages scattered about, but I haven't figured out the order. Some are ripped and some are faded beyond recognition. But there is a more pressing and imminent problem at hand. About 30 minutes ago I met Gary and Harold. We have been stationed out here for the next 180 days. I don't know whether to tell them what I've found. And I don't know whether to tell them that I don't remember coming here.